What is this? Oh, do we have some work to do? Before we install the sodium-ion battery, or even talk about it, we need to check up on the lithium iron phosphate and see how it's held up over the last 3.5 years. Let's jump in. But not to get too far ahead of ourselves, like I have in the video title, this is not going to be a video about sodium ion. That is coming soon, so stay tuned. All you get is a quick sneak peek of the module itself. This video will be focused entirely on the durability of the lithium iron phosphate, which I have now had in my Gen 3 Prius for about 3.5 years and about 50,000 miles. So I wanted to do kind of a longer term update of, general use over 3.5 years, multiple winters, multiple summers, and how it's held up over those 3.5 years, following the same tests that I actually did 3.5 years ago, where I did a voltage sag test, and I also did a test where I ran the air conditioner for 20% state of charge loss from 60 to 40. So let's jump into those two tests, get a sense of how well my lithium iron phosphate pack has fared in the Midwest over the last 3.5 years and 50,000 miles. All right, so this was my air conditioning test. And this test basically works where I start at 60% state of charge and run the air conditioner at full tilt at maximum speed, max fan, temperature at low, and I'm measuring how long it takes for the battery to go from 60% down to the threshold where the engine kicks on to charge the battery, which is roughly 39% state of charge. And this test I've now run 3 times. I ran it with nickel metal hydride right before I replaced it with the lithium iron phosphate. I've run it with the lithium iron phosphate pack when it was brand new, and now I've run it again roughly 3.5 years later and after about 50,000 miles. The first time I ran this test, it was, I think, October 9th of 2021. And I ran this test on May 9th, 2025. And the results are pretty surprising. So when I ran this test for nickel metal hydride, I think it was about 6.5 minutes to go from 60% to 40. When I ran it with the lithium iron phosphate back about 3.5 years ago, I think the result was 12.5 minutes, give or take a couple seconds there. And then running this test today, I got 11 minutes and 54 seconds, which is very close to what I had before, and honestly better than I was expecting. If we extrapolate, these numbers, about 30 seconds for 12.5 minutes, we're talking about 4% degradation, which is shockingly low. I was expecting closer to 10% degradation, which is pretty normal for a lithium iron phosphate cell, especially given, the harsh environment that is the car. We have pretty warm summers here in the Midwest, as well as cold winters. Although I've done a pretty good job of keeping the battery pack above freezing whenever possible by keeping the car in the garage, and also by leveraging the Hybrid Assistant app to ensure that whenever it is super cold or the battery pack is near freezing, I have the heat turned on in the car and the fan turned on to regulate that battery temperature. That said, this test result was pretty surprising. The ambient temperature was about the same. I think the starting state of charge was to the 100th place, the exact same as it was in our previous 3 tests, where I've now run this, as well as the end state of charge. The other notable thing to point out is that the discharge curve is, again, perfectly linear. Nothing has really changed since this was originally run with the lithium iron phosphate pack. So that's really good to see, that we don't have, a different discharge curve indicating, premature wear or anything like that. And the power from the battery pack is 0.330 kilowatt hours. So each individual module, and there's 14 of them, is, I believe, 6.6 amp hours, or 6,600 milliamp hours for those who want me to do that calculation. So the total capacity of the pack with 14 modules is, I think, roughly 1.46 kilowatt hours. So 20%, looking at 0.330 kilowatt hours equates roughly 1.6 kilowatt hours, I think. So, I mean, it's obviously estimating a slightly higher capacity than it's rated at, which I think this number is pretty close to what we had before. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as real-term usage goes, I haven't noticed the degradation. It behaves almost exactly how it did when I first put it in. My mileage has gone down, but there's been a number of factors that have changed in the last 3 years. Notably, the inverter in the engine has failed, and it runs a different software version. So for those unfamiliar, the Gen 3 Prius, specifically the age group or the year group between 2010 and 2012, possibly even the 2014s. It's been a while since I last took a look at this. But they had an issue with the inverter where it could overheat and it could cause some components within the inverter to fail. And Toyota issued a software patch, but if you look across any number of online forums, almost everyone across the board says that it impacts mileage negatively. So even though that was a recall, I actually opted to not take the update for the mileage reason, understanding that as I drive this car, I know what to look for if the inverter does fail. Well, it failed. Lucky for me, it failed in my driveway. So unfortunately, I did have to pay for a tow. But otherwise, the inverter replacement was covered by Toyota, and now my mileage has since gone down. Now, I am still getting 50 miles per gallon, so I can go ahead and show that as well. But this test right here, pretty remarkable. Very minimal degradation, very similar results to the previous test, which show almost the exact same amount of time pulling power from the battery. This was the other test, specifically trying to gauge the voltage sag. So in our original video where I introduced the lithium iron phosphate chemistry for the Prius, I pointed out that voltage sag is something that should be at least somewhat mitigated by the new chemistry of lithium iron phosphate, and that is definitely true, and it was proven true in the last video. But I did not explain why it was important, and I think that would be helpful. So part of it is if the volts listed here, 233, we pull 1 amp, we're technically pulling, 200, 300 watts or 0.3 kilowatts. If this voltage amount here drops significantly, we're talking, 20, 30 volts, then that means for every amp that you're pulling 30 less watts for each amp. So keeping the volts at a higher level does technically mean that you have more power being supplied to the electric motor, so the less voltage sag, the better, and it's more efficient for the amount of power that you can possibly supply. So anyway, when I ran this test for the nickel metal hydride, if I remember correctly, it was 30-ish. You can go back and watch that video. I'll link it to this one. But the lithium iron phosphate, I think, was about 15. So when I ran this again, I ran the exact same test. We're talking 70% state of charge, roughly the exact same battery temperature, very similar ambient temperature outside. This test was run, again, 3.5 years later on May 9th, 2025. But we start at 70%, pulling almost nothing, sitting at, at a stop. And then I put it in EV mode, and you have to be in S4 in order to do this, which is the stage 4 of the engine operation. So the engine temp has to be, up to 190, where we have our standard operating temps. But then you put it in EV mode, and in EV mode is where you can actually pull up to 25 kilowatts, up to 21 kilowatts. That's our discharge current limit. And that's exactly what I did. So we started at 232.5 and then, hit the accelerator, and that is when we started pulling more power. I pulled 21 kilowatts, and we dropped down to 214.5. Just doing quick math. I think that's a difference of 18. So we had a difference of 18 volts, slightly more than our original test, but pretty negligible. I think on our last test, I only pulled 20 kilowatts. And when I go back to 20, we're at 215. Yeah, so we're talking 17.5, 18 volts, which is still significantly better than my nickel metal hydride pack, which admittedly was used at the time of it being tested. So again, 3.5 years, 50,000 miles. I would say this is holding up remarkably well, and I have full confidence that this would go another 50,000 miles without an issue. And here is the mileage. This has been pretty average for the last several tanks of gas, and honestly, anytime I drive the car, I'm not getting anything lower than 50 miles per gallon. I think when I initially put the nickel metal hydride pack in, and with the inverter, the one with prior to the software patch that did cripple the miles per gallon slightly, I was consistently getting 55. So now I'm getting closer to 50 to 51. And if we go through, you know, the last several tanks of gas, that's pretty much what we're seeing. There's one outlier at 321 miles. Could have been a trip at where we're just, you know, hauling at 70 miles per gallon on a windy day. Not exactly sure, but that's been the story as far as the miles per gallon. Pretty elated by the performance of the pack. I mean, it's performed every bit as well as I was hoping and expecting. And after 3.5 years of driving with this car, it performs exactly as I had shown in those previous videos where I was outlining, you know, the performance. The big notable thing that is different with the lithium iron phosphate compared to the nickel metal hydride pack is, again, the discharge curve is linear. So when you start to lose battery power from, you know, I'm already above 65% here, it looks like. But as I start to slowly lose battery power, I'm not losing 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 and 4 really quickly. It's you slowly and linearly lose your battery power as you use it. It's also a lot harder to drain than lithium iron phosphate pack. Like I can put the car in drive as long as I'm under 46 miles an hour. You know, you can stay in essentially electric only mode, and even just pulling the electric bar, which is that, I can put it in drive to show you, but that little bar right here in the middle, I can keep the power all the way up to the middle, and it takes so much longer to drain the electric power than the nickel metal hydride ever did, even when I first got my car when it was only like 5 years old. So yeah, the performance is fantastic, and mileage has been pretty stable. The biggest thing that impacted it, again, was that inverter that failed, which did hit the mileage a little bit. All right, so with that, I'd say let's wrap this video here. Lithium iron phosphate has served me greatly over the last 3.5 years. The pack is still in great shape. It's probably going to end up in a family member's car. Not exactly sure what we'll do yet, but I do have a number of these that I've purchased from sodiumhybrid.com. And I will be turning these into probably 5 or 6 of them into a trolling motor battery, so stay tuned for that. And I think the very next video will be sodium ion, putting that into the Gen 3 Prius and seeing how it performs against both the nickel metal hydride pack that I replaced originally, and also against the lithium iron phosphate when I initially swapped over to that chemistry. So we'll give that one a look in the very next video, and we'll catch you in the next one.